Hey there everybody, so in this video I'm going to go ahead and discuss with you what we earned while we were working at the Sugar Beet Harvest. We worked 7 12-hour shifts straight, plus we had one partial day at the beginning which was training, so that was a total of 8 days work that we were there at the Sugar Beet Harvest.
For the day I break these chains, I'm bound for the life of the simple things.
We ended up clearing net after taxes, including state income tax, $2,440. So the money was all right, especially when you're thinking 8 days. Now remember, that's not each of us. That's Carolina and I combined. We made $2,440 while we were there, the 8 days we were there. Now, I wanted to talk to you guys more about a complete spectrum of the experience there that people have at the Sugar Beet Harvest, and not just our experience. While we were at the Sugar Beet Harvest, we kind of had a slew of like the worst case scenario. I would say that our experience wasn't really the norm, if I'm going to be really honest. We did have a defunct RV park that wasn't finished when we got there. That's not the norm. If you specifically know that you're going to be at an RV park, not just a place to camp with honey wagons coming in, which is a possibility there at the Sugar Beet Harvest, so that you need to know about, and you need to make sure that you go ahead and apply early and get the job, to make sure that you don't end up having one of the meg shift camps. So next, I just wanted to let you all know that we also had a scenario where we had, I would have to say that the foreman that was over our crew was really nice, but wasn't as assertive as that she could have been. She should have been a little more assertive and handled her crews a little bit stronger. It ended up leaving the operator with a little bit more control, a little bit more power than maybe she should have had. The operator that we had at first was making quite a few mistakes, which was causing a lot more spills. She wasn't putting up the rubber deal that kind of hooks the beets in better, and so we were having a lot more overflow than other pilers would experience, which meant more shoveling. Also, I think she was kind of trying to cover up the mistakes she was making and how often she was having an overflow of beets. And the reason why I think that is because she wasn't calling the bobcat. Now, the rest of the pilers, according to the maintenance man, and even Brian, I'm going to go ahead and link his video down below. He had a really good experience there at the Sugar Beet Harvest. He was working, operating the bobcat. He wasn't part of the ground crew, but even he says that the spills, really the majority of the spills, should have been being picked up by the bobcat. The first bit, and also especially when it was the worst part of the harvest, right, is the beginning of the harvest, and we were having to shovel then when there was the most trucks, and it just ended up being where probably easily shoveling 10 to 15,000 pounds of beets a day, which is way too much, and it's not really the best ergonomically. It wouldn't have been as bad on me, I would have to say, if I was younger or in better shape. There was a period of time where I had a job where my whole job was to shovel pellets from making soil reconditioner to a hopper, and so I would spend 10-12 hour shifts shoveling the whole time. At the beet harvest I didn't do it that much, but it was pretty difficult, the amount of shoveling I had. Now, another thing that I really didn't like, and that is that the operator on that piler she had a real issue with control. She would try to make people shovel. She was purposely trying to make an older gentleman shovel. He didn't rush over to the beet spill and start shoveling right away. He went a little bit slower, and the operator had a real problem with that. I couldn't believe she would kept coming down to me and telling me why wasn't I yelling at him and making him shovel. And I told her that I saw him almost hurt his back when he was shoveling, and so I didn't really want to bother him. Plus, I didn't want to yell at anybody. I just wanted to do my job and go, you know. And she told me that if I didn't, the only one that was going to get hurt was me. So that was messed up. I thought she was trying to, you know, pit us against each other. Anyways, she ended up getting him fired before we left. She ended up getting him fired, and I thought it was a pretty raw deal personally. I'm gonna see if he'll tell a little bit about his experience as well. Maybe post that at a later date. I'm gonna try to get some opinions from other people as well. But there is a lot of politics going on our piler, and so that made it a lot less fun. We did get rain, but we didn't get enough rain to stop the harvest or anything. So that's the reason why we ended up with 12-hour shifts straight in a row the whole time we were there. We ended up having good weather for, you know, getting the beets out of the ground, and that's not really the norm. Normally there's some warm days that stop the harvest. There's also usually some sort of rain, heavy rains that end up stopping it. Effective. I did want to talk about real quick that it's not the experience everybody has. One thing you need to know about the sugar beet harvest is it's very variable. There's a whole spectrum of how it is. You know, there's a whole spectrum of experiences. I heard about good ones, I heard about bad ones. And what I did note is that satellite locations that aren't right next to a plant tend to have less trucks coming in. It's not as difficult. There's not nearly as many trucks, so there's not near as much beet spillage, not near as much shoveling. There's downtime in between trucks here and there, and so if you're out in a satellite location, it's a lot easier. Now and I'm just talking about the ground crew, the stuff that we did. If you're at a main station, you're gonna get just slammed with trucks for the first 4 days. After that, it got a lot easier, I felt, just because there was less activity. Now, the ground crew is not the only job there. You can work as an operator if you've worked before, or at least if you get there early enough to do some training to do it. So that's a good thing to note, guys. There's that job. That job pays a little bit more. I believe it was $16 an hour. Then there's Bobcat operator. You can operate a Bobcat, so there's that job out there. There's also a maintenance crew out there, and there's even foremen. There's some temporary foremen that go there for the sugar beet harvest that aren't there year round. So those are some of the other job opportunities. There's also a tram driver that goes and picks up samples and stuff like that. Before I wrap up this video, I just want to give you a chance to hear Catalina's take on it and let you have her tell you a little bit about the experience.
Hi guys. Well, my take in the sugar beets experience is that the time that we were there working was hard, especially when I started shoveling with the smaller shovel, and the piler operator told me, no, you cannot do that, and then I'm gonna talk to the foreman. And in the end of the shift, when I left the piler, and the foreman came and asked me what was going on, and then I explained that I was having backache and I was shoveling just with this smaller shovel, and the operator was complaining. I told the foreman that I was trying to make it, and then he turned and said, "No, Carolina, you will make it. You will make it." Now we have the money in the bank. I see that it's doable, and how we take for granted everything that we have in our table, and it's so hard, the process, just to have the sugar done. And what else I can say is that I am proud of James and I.
Get out there, connect with people, live your big story.
Make sure you do something every single day to reduce world suck.
Peace, guys.
Without you, my friend, and I tell you all about it when I see you again. We come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all